sound. I'm sore. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. This is Gamer1745. If you don't already know, I'm sure you do. Here, I am currently in the dev server. Quick explanation: dev or development server. Periodically, they open this up. Actually, I think right now it's open up to the public, though there is a max number of players on it. And what this is the next major update is being previewed here. And that's so we can see some of the changes, like in research, Blue Water Fleet. This is what the new, or Germany, what the new. Oh, well, let me start over again. We're going to keep going, but I want to record an episode here. Hello, fellow armchair generals and War Thunder enthusiasts, and maybe current World of Warships players. How you doing? This is Gamer1745, and we're looking primarily at War Thunder's new heavy ships coming out here in this video. That is an Arado seaplane on top of there. I forget the exact number, model number there. Doesn't do anything, just looks pretty. Okay, we are in the dev server here, and this is for the new power, I think is what it's called, or whatever the new update is. So the dev server is, of course, the developer server. Currently, as I'm playing it, it is open. You can see the almost 9 million golden eagles. Those are only good on this dev server, only while this is open. It doesn't transfer to reality, if you will. It just allowed me to, we'll take a look at it here, quickly burn my way through just simply by using golden eagles to get up to some of the new heavy ships here. So this is going to be a quick look here at what's changing. This is a preview, subject to change. Probably not major changes in here. I don't know if there's going to be new or more new vessels added to it that aren't already here. But so we will now have Blue Water Fleet, so you can start here with a reserve. You do not have to grind through at all. And and playing Blue Water Fleet, my understanding is you don't get any grinding points to help with the coastal fleet, as they're calling it here. But these do play in the same, you can have them in the same lineup, and they can play in the same battles. So your motor torpedo boats can rush out and launch torpedoes at your big ships. So it's sort of like, and of course you can have air battles, or aircraft within the, we have a new, like you see, image in progress. This is a new interceptor strike fighter that's not in the standard game. I really haven't looked through the naval stuff. But, so yeah, all these eagles is just to allow me to, instead of have to grind my way through, I just got these vessels up to full strength. So I was hoping France would be with a naval fleet. It is not yet. Again, I was saying hope. Here's a quick look. You can always pause this if you're looking at this later. The new few of the vessels are going away as premiums to get. If you have them here, you can keep them. But you can see through here what the U.S. Blue Water Fleet will look like. We can quickly, let's choose a crew, just dump it there. On this lineup here. The U.S. top tier, basically pre-World War I believe. I think these would be categorized as dreadnoughts. And we can look at the USSRs. Oh, yeah, well, sorry. Back here, the coastal fleet will be this. I'm so glad they're doing this. This is what I suggested after feedback from some of big fans of War Thunder tank battles and such. Well, why are you playing World of Warships? Well, they wanted to play the big ships, one, and they didn't have them in the game at all, and two, they didn't want to have to grind through the coastal fleet. So you still have that or this. So again, you can start there. USSR, you can start here. You already have some things. I mean, they just gave you these to start out to show off. Their coastal fleet here, really well developed. Britain's coastal fleet, again, not much is changing there. Maybe a few things added. But you can again start off here with the Clemson, which this version of Clemson really sucks for the game. And you have the Colossus and the Dreadnought. The very first Dreadnought was named Dreadnought, of course. And Japan, Japan's coastal fleet sucks. Because fortunately, they do these things based off of historically, and Japan, until very late in the war, World War II did not do small attack vessels. These are sort of mostly emergency late war, oh shit, we need to do something. So they generally sucked. They just do. So all this mostly sucks. And so it was really pain trying to grind through. But so we start out now with reserve, and you can go through the Japanese. So you get into the good destroyers and whatnot for World War II. Japan looks pretty good. And once we get to bigger and bigger battleships, there'll be some really cool stuff, including the Yamato, I presume, eventually. But we do have the Italian Blue Water Fleet, not as well developed as we can see in many of the other nations. They just haven't put in enough effort, in my opinion. Again, this is a preview. We see a new premium here to sort of start you off with, which they temporarily given me for this server. I don't know if later we'll take a look at some of these things. Compare this to the, German. It's just not as good. But during World War II, Italy's Navy was the most advanced armed forces of Italy. Or the most modern, shall we say. And so there's a lot you can do here with Italy. And there's actually, but a lot you can do with France. I think one of the main reasons they weren't in before is they also had little or no, they had some torpedo boats, I believe, especially if we go back to like pre-World War One. And torpedo boats were something around slightly before destroyers, but they're not like the little motor torpedo boats we think like PT-109 or whatever. But a lot of that stuff they did not have during World War II, so that's why I don't think they did a naval focus tree. But now that you can just do a blue water fleet if they want to, France, there is a lot of options, including big battleships, the Richelieu and such like that. So yeah, that is a look at, quick look at the new trees for coastal and blue water fleets. Now I'm going to take a few of these out here. I have the SMS Westfalen here. I am not a big ship enthusiast, and I've not gone in and looked these up. And the Helgoland. Here we can see again, these are sort of in their World War I type versions, so they'll have little or no. And that two very weaknesses in these vessels. Two of them, and there's probably more, but two very big ones. One, both of these at least, and these did not survive through the peace process, shall we say, of World War I, have little or no anti-aircraft. So that is a massive weakness, because we will be facing aircraft in the game. And two, they're slow in comparison to most World War II vessels. Now they have a fair amount of smaller guns around the sides of them, and those will be normally on AI control, and so they can probably shoot at motor torpedo boats as they sort of kind of come close. But yeah, that's their two biggest weaknesses. I presume, again, a presumption, we'll see something like the Schleswig-Holstein, which did survive into World War II, and I think survived the war. That might be an upgraded with some anti-aircraft. Put it in its like 19 39 or 40 or whatever configuration with a few more AA guns. And it's already been in the game. I just really, except for I think an earlier dev server, really haven't played. But I wanted to have this here as a comparison. The Graf Spey, which has, what are these? Well, we can, used to inches, but 228 millimeter main guns on basically the a light battleship type guns. So that is a quick look at the tree. We're going to now play a few missions. Welcome, fellow armchair generals and War Thunder naval enthusiasts. We're going to be playing a few missions on the dev server. Hopefully, it won't be a whole lot of waiting time. I do believe this is currently open to the public. Waiting for battle is 3. Let's cancel this quickly and like naval arcade, but we'll just open. Oh, well, it's only EU. Okay, those are or whatever is available. Okay. I'll stop this and wait till we're actually going in. Any of the few viewers have any questions, you can post them in chat. I can see them here, I believe. Something you want me to quickly look at some point, I would be happy to do so. And of course, the other big thing that's changed in this is the things like the sky, the clouds and such, and how it's working. Oh, come on, I was going in much faster earlier. Oh, here we go. Okay, a different map than before. Okay, let's come in the Westfalen. Let's change out the ammo types. These first top two are best if you're going after light targets like destroyers, where the other two are better, of course, for going after heavily armored vehicles, ships. But the better piercing ones will often be able to go all the way through the vessel without exploding, unless you hit something solid. We now have down sort of lower right, it says E, instead of over, I can't really wish I had a cursor right now, instead of on the sort of mini map of your condition of your vessel, you can change right here. Looking at, okay, so now most vessels, and it is still to a degree, it's best to sort of turn them and give your broadside to them, which is a bigger target, of course, but is normally fairly well armored and has most of your guns on. Where this vessel, I don't even know who I should shoot at. Well, maybe you right in front. Is you can do slightly better on your broadside, but you can be a smaller target and still get 6 ships. Let's so we're going to be a battleship. Meaning we're going to just drive into the enemy here. See how much damage we can soak up. See how much damage we can do. Now, light cruisers, sort of almost by their definition, do not have armor. Heavy cruisers, or the CL stands for basically cruiser light on the designation. CA for heavy cruisers. Why the A? Well, it was cruisers armored. They were armored cruisers. And got a lot of A's here. See if we can see any splashes. He's turning a bit. 2 seconds. 1. Okay, looks like I was leading him just a little too much. Now, if you stick around for either after I get sunk, if this lasts long enough, or I'll play another mission with the grass spade to show you, even though that is not a battleship, it's a heavy cruiser. Sort of an overgunned heavy cruiser. How they play very different from these World War I ships. So if I were to switch over to the other type of armament, like I was saying, it would likely pass through that vessel, quite likely without exploding. Oh, we got a hit. Okay. And it's on fire. I'm not sure from ours, but probably. I didn't see the fire before. Unless it had something big and heavy inside. Like the turrets would be armored on that thing. Or hit a major engine component. And then if you get a good explosion, or a good contact, it would explode well and do a lot of additional damage. You can see these other vessels pulling away from me here. So if you're looking at capturing points, which is not what's happening in this battlefield, so, well, I guess there is an A and a B way out there, but is not really sort of the main thought of this battle. But if you're capturing points, this is not the vessel to do it in. Okay, we're going to switch to that target. No. It would be... Did it die? But there was... Oh, there's that one. Heavy cruiser there. That's it. Okay. Fire. Switch over because we are talking about an armored cruiser. Something that penetrates a little more before detonating. Okay, we've sort of hit the thing a bit. So we sort of rain down on it. Didn't do any like catastrophic damage. That of the guy that we were firing at earlier is still on fire. He probably doesn't have fire suppression equipment. I think a lot of these may be bots. There we go. Pretty heavy hit. What I noticed early on in playing a lot of the I'll stick with this guy. The naval battles, you could hit the ammo and they would blow up and blow the ship up. It seemed more often. That is often the way, if you were actually going to blow the ship up instead of sink the ship, was really mostly hitting a magazine. And that's sort of what I'm trying to hit. Fire, put the fire out. Let's fire low. 6. Boom, hitting the side of the armor. We really don't want to sink. Now we're going to turn to the turn a broadside here. Doesn't look like too many vessels are using torpedoes right now. Bring 2 more guns to bear. Well, that's done a lot of damage. Why it hasn't catastrophically damaged it? Now, as you can tell, we've taken lots of hits. Some from, you know, things that are just shooting up our, you know, boats that are on our deck, which often happen in the period. Nope. Gotta kill us. So let's go after it. Okay. Well, let's switch ammo types, but let's put a round into the Omaha here. Or volley, I should say. Try to go right into that section. Turn our attention to them with some high explosive. Okay, all of our turrets are now back into action. Okay, that destroyer is gone. Well, we can maybe put another round into this Omaha. There we go. We got first strike. Wow, how? Yes, because the rest of the kills are AI kills. That guy's listing over badly. Now the key will be something like this in regular battles will be to get support from other vessels, as in like air support and such. It's pretty badly on fire. Let's see if we can shoot this thing with a... Nobody shot it. Wow, okay. Yeah, I know this is box. Still. It's the first real hit on it. Oh, a little too far back. Over. See a few more. Triggered it on the bigger ship behind it. Damn, I was shooting at the little guy. You can see this thing turns really slowly. Oh, they're healing over. Okay, come on, come on. We don't want to be healing over. We want to shoot that guy here. Okay, right there. Oh, led way too far in front of it. Oh well. Is he backing up? Is he actually backing up now? That's why I would throw. Come on, I know there's a lot closer things to me. Just want to sink this thing. One good volley of high explosive rounds into it. And 57% crew members. Okay, fire. To fire out. Wow. Now he's going forward. Well, I'm surprised he's still afloat. Okay, well, hello. You're really close to me. Load, 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 load. That's right into where I wanted it to go, and I would think it would be blowing up the magazines, but that's just me thinking things. Good, that was a pretty good hit. Maybe slightly low below the water line, but I'm trying for that. Probably see about looping around. Saw the boat blow off there. Okay, because we'll have more guns coming to bear that aren't damaged, like a lot of these are. Yeah, I think just about everybody here is a bot. Unfortunately, always better to play against players. Other target was destroyed. Good. Back on. Steady. Go. For the forward magazines. Well, they all look blacked out, but still hasn't catastrophically blown up like I want it to. Okay, well, let's J out of this thing. Let's come in with the Admiral Graf Spey. The selection of rounds. Now this should give us a pretty good idea of what battleships will be like. This vessel has torpedoes as well, as you see that aiming guiding out. No, come on. I want to blast it, but oh my guns, I'm trying for right above or slightly below the water line. Pretty good hit, but didn't take it out like I was hoping. He's going down fast. So I think we're just going to let him go down. Let our secondaries take care of him. He's going down too. Yeah. Kill assist there. Look at him. Yeah, he's going over, but put the boot in a bit. Okay, you can see much more responsive, much quicker ship. Maybe not quite double the speed, but maybe it didn't quite look good. Of course, we're turning, so that's slowing us a bit. Oh, hello. I'm turning into you, really? Okay, sorry, dude. Or AI bot or whatever. Full reverse. They do start us out a little bit too bunched up. Though I don't know that that was the cause of that. Bad. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. I want to turn behind him. Let him go. He can temporarily be a meat shield there. Let's get both turrets on target. So another Omaha class that is going down, so he's going a bit slow now. Let's trail him just a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, just barely hit him in the stern. He is going over, but still. Okay, how does that look? Okay, should have trailed him some. Yep, should have trailed. Oh, we got a kill assist, but right from the first hit more than. Okay, well, let's. Put some torpedoes right here. Well, a little bit of a hit there. Boom, okay, so good hit with our high explosives there. Way out at 9 kilometers. Barely see it, looks like it's coming straight at me more or less. So we want to go a little to the left here. I think right about, and they're coming closer, right about there. Let's see how well that lands on him. Oh, well, barely hit him. Okay, so that's why I was trying, because he's coming straight in, trying to shoot a bit low. Oh, that's an airplane. See, I was able to identify an airplane. Okay. The air targets. Gauge air targets if you have any ammunition left. Oh, he's already, looks like he's already been killed. Okay. Got a hit on him. Looks like a pretty good one. But we'll put in a... somebody else hit him. Second volley. Ship, of course. Wow. Okay. Hard to tell through all this fog on the water, which is both realistic and a bit annoying for a dev server. Hey, no need. How you doing? I hadn't looked up at the chat for a moment. Well, we'll see Biden's dream of winning or not there, but some of these ships are sinking fairly quick. Okay, let's go after this Emden class up here. Where is this the Emden? I don't know. Okay, he's behind the fortress there, but we'll give him a shot right about like that, and it is too close. Or he's too close for what I was anticipating doing. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen for this election. This evening I'm going to be watching the news very carefully. I think you know, like, who I want to win. And it's who I think will win. How did I miss all that? Midnight, okay, watching co-election results. Yeah, these are naval battles. They're improving things for bigger ships. Really trying to compete with World of Warships, I would say. I'm leading him too much, way too much lead. I barely hit it with some splash damage, but... maybe that'll do better. Plug the holes. Oh, it's still short. Put the fire out. Reload, reload, reload. Okay, well, that should hit. There we go, lots of damage. It's just like tanks, the tank battles or the air battles. You can get in a squadron of up to 4. And like you've seen us do for other regular War Thunder tank battles, and you can coordinate if you want. I'm not playing with a squadron, so I'm just on my own, and mostly because this is the dev server, this isn't the regular normal server, so most of what we're seeing out here are bots, not actual human players. I think the aircraft that flew over me a while ago was a human player, but okay, well, he's on fire. These things are shooting at me. Hello, it's me, big boy. How you doing? Hey, Thomas. Yeah, he was doing all right. It's, you know, World War I or pre-World War I era, because most of the Kaiser's fleet was actually built before World War I. Battleship. It's, not the same class, I don't think, as the Schleswig-Holstein that you're probably familiar with from World War II. It was still around, which I think predated that. But that type of thing. You can see he's listing badly. Do we even shoot him again? Yeah, let's put one more shot into him. Well, I thought that was a hit. Oh, he died. Okay. So it was. And we'll go with the closer light cruiser. So if you're all interested in big battleship type combat, this is in my opinion, the best game out there. Because it is more realistic than World of Warships. Doesn't mean World of Warships isn't a good game, it's just how much realism. You don't want too much realism in a game because it just gets, you know, a true simulator type thing just gets a bit too much for most people. But you might want more realism than less. Now I just saw him fire at me. Okay, let's see. Now I could play this a little smarter by maneuvering around a little more. Also, of course, you could, with these big guns, stay further away from the enemy and try to pound them instead of closing range. Now I'm shooting the high explosive rounds because most of these targets are... Okay, I was trying to get them a little too... well, not so bad. Trying to shoot just a little back from where I did hit to hit his magazine and blow up, but they don't seem to do magazine detonations as much as they used to. There are a lot of battleships built both before and also during the First World War. Well, Britain was making ships during the First World War. I don't think Germany was doing much. Now, I'm not a naval warfare expert at all, so don't take what I'm saying as being like I know. I just don't know of much production. And I also know how desperately the German army was wanting things like artillery, including big guns, like the Paris gun, just to name one, that was sort of a super long way. Oh, he's about ready to turn turtle and go over. Looks that way. Okay, let's see, where's somebody else to shoot at? Okay. No, this little guy here. That I think most of their efforts were put into... now, the Germans made lots of submarines and fairly light forces during World War I. Yeah, that other big guy I think went over. Somebody else got credit for it. Now I would say that that should blow that thing apart. We just saw what happened. I hit that guy so hard. Now he's on fire and he's probably going to die from it. But that should have blown the front of his vessel off. And because it hit his magazines, and with blowing off the front of his vessel, that should just sort of like take it out. Yeah, no. Yeah, now upgrading is another question. They definitely did a lot of upgrading. Rarely do I think they upgraded things such as main guns. You see, now that's the way, you know, hit them with that. But upgrading things like anti-aircraft gunnery, new ranging equipment. Okay, you see the thing at the very top, sort of where my this white circle is looking at? That thing? That and right down there are the two things that are actually aiming these guns. So when they're firing together in a broadside, it'd be that topmost position up here, right where they're sort of zoomed in on. That is what is aiming these guns. Now, if you were going to fire it like at a ship in the forward and the ship to the rear, the stern, then the stern lower sights, what forget what they were specifically called on a ship, but fire coordinators, oh boy, would be handling all the aiming duties. Now, if one or both of those are knocked out, could just be like the top one's knocked out and you're shooting in front, then there are sights set up on the main sort of turret to as it's going over to be able to shoot also. They're not as good, not as precise, not as you can sort of see that the sort of like the wings to either side, you see the four little round things sort of looking forward. Those would be, optics, and set up specifically to do range finding precisely to better judge, distance and course and speed of the enemy vessels, to put it into a targeting computer, a mechanical computer, basically, like a single purpose computer, meaning it doesn't do anything else. It can't calculate other things. And so those kinds of updates were going on a fair amount to vessels. I just looked up and around 8 or 9 of the very big ones were built or put afloat by Germany during the war. Okay. I did not know that Thomas K. Good. There's 8 or 9. That's a lot. I did not think Germany did. Okay, you're turning around, so let's just fire at you that way. And okay, I am trying for the front of that vessel, or the front. You can sort of see up there, down below the waterline is where the main magazines are. Oh, we won, I guess. Mission accomplished. I think I'm the only human player here, or one of the few. Okay, so yeah, against botch. Okay. So we can see how these things differ. Most of these guns for the ships by the ones that survived through to World War One, I say most, these lower guns had been removed and armor plated over. And that helps a whole lot for a vessel like this because, that gun is a lot of weight. The armor around the gun here is a lot of weight. The ammunition, let's go to X-ray here. Okay, well, they're not really showing it, but they're most likely, again, I don't know, maybe not quite as elaborate as this thing, but there has to be a way to get ammo up to these guns rapidly. Can be, in some cases, a human chain, but my guess would be a some sort of lifting mechanism. Just because I'm getting on the one behind it. A lifting an elevating lifting mechanism or something nearby. You want to be able to keep the rate of fire, because if you just have a gun like this, okay, 150 millimeter, artillery piece, you got an idea how big that is, probably. That's a pretty big. You can think of the like 2-part ammo that we're seeing in a. You can see it's like mechanically in a the Panzerhaubitze 2000 or the I guess M109 Paladin or whatever they call the current modern self-propelled artillery piece. Those are like 2-piece ammunition, and so even the 105 rounds, and these could be bigger, could be smaller rounds for the 150, meaning longer or shorter, but they're probably 2-part ammo to keep them light enough to be handy. You don't want to just have a rack of them sitting, right here by the gun, because they're going to run out of after. How many rounds are you going to put here? 10 rounds, 20 rounds, 30 rounds? Well, once you start getting more and more rounds up there, they become a hazard, fire hazard, I was thinking, or just an exploding hazard. So you need to keep them in a magazine where, people treat the explosive part, particularly the part that the charges that propel the round out, very carefully. Like, okay, see now that, okay, there we go. Okay, so you see this here, this thing right here. This would be an ammo elevator, and they would probably human chain from there to these guns, and maybe from here to this gun. So they would, whether human chain or walking from there to here. Okay, now you can see there's a whole ammo lifting thing for these main guns in the here. But so if you remove this gun, you can remove this. You can remove all that, and then come in here, and we can see how this is sort of armored up here, the different armored belts. This out here is outside of the armor. This area is within the armor. See, very heavy armor protecting the engine, because once you get the engine, you become basically a stationary target. So the two principal areas to armor are, one, the main ammo. Now what they're also doing here is, we can see here with the X-ray, is you can see the water line, and we can see where the ammo is below the water line. So that's where I was trying to hit with these vessels. Now also these fuel tanks, which may be sort of like we're seeing here, would be partitioned off. So and probably wouldn't explode if hit, because they can burn raw oil, because these are presumably turbine type engines, not internal combustion engines. So they're just a furnace, so you can burn raw oil, I believe. So probably they wouldn't go on fire, but they just penetrate and start to leak. So you do multiple sections so you don't run out all of your fuel. But so you're trying to put as much of your ammo below. Oh, coal bunkers. Okay, so this is a coal vessel. Oh, okay, so they're put this. So these are coal bunkers. So that's okay. It's interesting. And as you can tell, I don't know a whole lot about these, but these particular vessels. But so you just, like, as much as you can below the water line for the explosive bits, and you want to feed them up sort of as needed to these guns. So that reduces a lot of weight. Also, what it does is reduce your crew complement needs, because you don't need all the people, because you have the guys firing the gun. You have the guys, again, we can go on X-ray where the, I don't know, from here or from somewhere, carrying the ammo to these positions, to the stern, or however they got the ammo specifically to these guns, I don't know. And then the immediate guys sort of handling them, and you have the people handling the ammo way down here, wherever, so in this ammo rooms. So all those people can go bye-bye. You don't need them, which gives you more space, gives you more cruising range, and of course, you can get rid of a lot of these extra boats here. And in some cases, they would mount anti-aircraft guns on the top of the turrets, or mount anti-aircraft guns, say, in some of these other locations around to deal with the more modern situations. That's the way a lot of them were modernized. from what they were doing. They were pretty decent in the year. Yeah. So yeah, well, that is how these guys functioned. We can take a look at the U.S. here. Let's see. Let's do a quick setup for Blue Water Fleet. Okay. Okay, we already have him. Let's change to Naval Arcade. Okay, we already have that. Oh, it just wasn't showing up as gold. Alright, so we have these vessels here. New Orleans is new. Yeah, so is North Dakota. Interesting. Interesting design differences here. I don't know how much this is to do with okay, so these are designed to close up either in rough weather and or maybe steaming fast because of the waves. But note the bows are a straight line deck. And with this, we see something I'm used to seeing more on a British ship, a much taller bow deck. What I normally think for the Atlantic, where a lot of vessels that the U.S. builds are built a bit more for the Pacific. And that they're not maybe quite a flush deck design, but they're more so, if not compared to that. Let's take a quick look at Britain's HMS Dreadnought. I don't know a lot about it. I do know that's Jackie Fisher's Wonder Toy, and got the whole modern kickoff of ships. Now, what's somebody messaging me about now? Oh, never mind. Okay, so here we can see, now this is a Dreadnought, or this is the Dreadnought here. So this is a Colossus, also a Dreadnought class vessel. Of course, the main difference is the realization that a lot of small guns really aren't going to be helping in modern warfare. These guys down here. They really anticipated the idea that they were going to start out at a range and start firing with their big heavy guns. And then slowly move, you know, at the rate of whatever, because you could be chasing somebody, so obviously only if you're going slightly faster than them would you catch them, or of course you could be more rapidly, you know, because you're both heading straight at each other, or something somewhere in between, depending on your rate of closing. You'd be closing, and eventually you get to where these guns would be useful. Now, if you notice, these guns here, they can't shoot very far, because however, whatever, and I don't know the range of these guns, but none of these guns, even this thing here, I mean, it can point into, it can get a little bit of elevation, but not much, not like these guys. So these things are only close in useful. And that's it. So only if you're coming in and banging on someone closely would they even be of any use. Where with the dreadnought, all of that goes by. You know, they just get rid of it. Now, I don't know if originally, like the guns mounted on top of here were original outline. Because you can tell I don't know a lot about this sort of transition period. But all of these guns here, whether these are meant as anti-aircraft guns, because they're quick fire, which in British terms normally is an anti-aircraft gun. So these are probably later put on as anti-aircraft guns. When Jackie Fisher was developing this, they weren't really looking at anti-aircraft. How realistic is the game, i.e. also simulate munitions malfunctioning? Not really that level. Obviously, the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest unrealistic thing in the game is, oh, hey, they've knocked out this gun barrel. Well, let's just get out there and straighten it out for a few minutes, or 30 seconds or 90 seconds or something like this, and we'll get the gun barrel back into action. Yeah, of course that wouldn't happen. That's probably the most unrealistic. Not just that you can repair something, because things were repaired in action, but your ability to repair it to the level that you can is just ridiculous, in my opinion. And that includes tank warfare. It's also that way. Aircraft, it's not, but so the repair function. So now we're looking at a ship that's optimized for these guns. Still yet to get the idea that all guns should be on the center line and being able to do a fully fire on the broadside. Because rarely were you going to find a situation in which both of these guns could be used at the same time. Well, I guess to a point what they're thinking here is forward firing. To have 6 guns forward firing. Yeah, that sort of kind of would work. But you notice if it's just a little bit off your bow like that, this gun over here can't fire. Now these two could. Of course, that's nowadays handled, or later on was like these, is handled by stepping the rear turret up. But they're really meant to come and turn your broadside to the enemy. So let's play a little bit of this vessel here. You can... all battles are busy? Okay, here we go. Now, realism here will set up again with the X-ray. Oh, well, not let me do this while we're waiting. Is where the shell hits. Is there enough armor or engine space, or engine machinery to detonate it, because different rounds coming in have different detonation capabilities. Because like I remember reading about one U.S. destroyer who got hit so many times, and I think it was a cruiser, I forget, a heavier light cruiser that was fighting a Japanese one in the Pacific, that eventually the cruiser had run out of high explosive ammunition and was shooting its armor-piercing ammunition, which would theoretically explode. I mean, if it hits enough armor, it explodes. But it was just punching neat little clean holes in joining session, good, in one side of the ship and out the other, and doing functionally no real damage to anything, and not even some of the rounds. Now, they had a lot of casualties, of course, but not necessarily even causing casualty as it passed through the ship. So your AP ammunition here is set up to do that. Okay, so we have... Oh, I haven't even ground this thing. I haven't even did the... Oh, well. So this is how you get it stock. So 305 millimeter and 76 millimeter guns. Okay. And then there's going to be a lot of... So this is going to happen a lot in this game. 2 torpedoes, which are seemingly useless at this point. I don't know that I'm going to stay here very long. because this is unground up, so we're going slow. The turret radius is fairly slow. If there's anybody new here, you can give the channel a follow, a like, or whatever. Now this is an arcade mode, so we're having the enemy sort of highlighted in red when we see them. Now this is the idea, and the reason they're sort of faded out is that we don't have direct line of sight so much as we're like maybe seeing a little of their masthead or something over the island from our masthead up here. But since we're arcing shells over and not straight at them, we have the ability to hit them like that. Don't know that we're going to hit, but see, it looks like they're on something of a parallel course. That's why I sort of fired right at them. But if we're moving at the same speed they're moving at, and now we can't see them because they went far enough behind the top of enough of a hill or whatnot. And so this game is based on, you can for naval vessels you can sink them, meaning if you poke enough holes in them, and you do have the ability to you can see number 8 down there, to plug holes in your crew. So you can sink the vessels, though that is actually fairly rare. What you normally do is either kill enough of the crew. Right now we start out with 89% of the crew. You can improve things to have it effective 100% of the crew. And you can sort of see over, on the model of the ship on the lower left, sections of the ship. Eventually, and you can see it, like if I ever hit anything here. Let's see, don't know which. Let's trail them slightly. We're going slow, but we actually hit somebody. Sections will go black, and what that means is everybody in that section, okay, boom, you see that, and then you see some sections go black up there on the upper top. That means we just killed everybody in that section. Now, if we've just taken out their bridge crew, that means the ship is no longer being handled. So there's no one on the bridge. Now, they will be able to send replacements if they have enough crew members still, and then get back helm control. They don't really have anything like, which was showing up in some ships, secondary helm control or whatnot. White loaded. Is it on target? I don't know if we're trailing enough or leading enough or whatnot. Okay, so that it's going to maybe take them a little while to die, but they're going to die after a couple of hits of high explosive. Okay, there's a light cruiser there. My secondary armament is told to currently either shoot at air or other ships. I can specify it to not shoot. I can specify it to only hit air targets or only hit surface targets, as well as the both. Now, something like a light cruiser or destroyer, the high explosive ammunition is the best. Somebody else is hitting that guy pretty bad. Okay, let's see. He's turning around. Let's. Okay. Well, it looks like we've knocked out his engines, or some are his forward engines, I should say. Now he can repair them in the time of the space of the game, which, yeah, that's unrealistic. Now, they've not yet done a simulator mode, I don't think, at least none that I'm aware of, for warships like they do for other stuff which are more realistic. And this is the arcade mode. There is a more realistic mode on the game. It doesn't give red highlights to the enemy. Right about there. We're on fire and we don't have fire suppression equipment, so we're going to eventually burn up. But we hit him again. Okay, we'll probably leave this. Partially because we don't have fire. Oh yeah, return to hangar. Yeah, I think I'm the only actual person playing right now. Two hangars, yeah, let's... I don't know if it's worth trying to go through and upgrade this. It doesn't like that I left the game early. How long until I could use these? So a minute, 55 seconds. And this is meant to grind up those of you who aren't used to War Thunder, to make the vessels a little more, or get them to their proper capabilities. So you start out with them sort of nerfed, if you will. It's a mechanism to try to get you to spend money on a free-to-play game. Basically. It is what it is. I really hope this becomes more popular. Don't know that it's ever going to eclipse World of Warships, just because I think people like it as a game. But it is getting a... more realistic naval battles. I like them. Well, anything anybody else wants to see on the new dev server here? I don't know. There's just a few of you out there I know, but I wanted to make a couple of videos and I figured I might as well stream them about this new thing here. Some export thingy for Britain. You're categorizing it as a light tank. I do not know much or anything about this. VFM5? APC at all? No, it's just a big engine back here. Okay. Okay, so it is probably rather small. I'm not seeing it in relation to other vehicles. Okay, that's looking fairly thin armored. Well, let's check this out. All battle servers are busy. All battle servers are busy. Why is it ground up? And I should have. Yeah, definitely not ground up. That is so helpful. That tells me you're not a bot, right? Yeah. You're probably also not a content creator either. Oh, there's a baddie around the corner there somewhere. He's afraid to go out there. Is there somebody out that way, you think? Oh, okay, well, you got my driver. Oh, you out there? Oh, you're an aircraft. That's it. You're a helicopter. We hate helicopters. Why do you put them in the goddamn game? Yeah. Killed by a helicopter. Nah. Striker? Okay. Yeah, oh, a Falcon might be able to take that helicopter down. I hate helicopters in the game. I want a ground-only mode. Nothing but air. I mean, nothing but ground. You want joint battles, that's fine, but I want a ground-only mode. See something out there that looks like a tank. Not hang out in the open. Anybody kill the K-50 or not? Oh, little alert. A new vehicle killed me. Yay. Yeah, we're returning to hangar. Cancel, cancel. What? Oh, I didn't want to go into a... Oh well, I'm getting out of this. Well, I think this is going to be it. I just wanted to do a quick look at... record a couple of videos about the new naval action. Yeah, return to hangar. To hangar. So we see also new interfaces setting up here, but new power. Dev server. Is there any interesting notes here? No. Just said, hey, it's now open. Hey, yes. Yeah, it's not ground up at all, so we'll have that. Okay. Some good ammo. Whatnot. Well, thanks everyone. I will be streaming. We'll be streaming something Friday. Looks like multiplayer Hoi 4 Black Ice is now on the most likely. So, thanks everyone.